What's up, guys? Welcome to Mr. and Mrs. Lopez channel. Today is going to be about Q&A for pre-medical students and medical school in general. So if you are trying to go to a medical school in the near future, these question and answers are for you. If you're trying to go to a health professional program like a physician assistant program, nurse practitioner, physical therapists, I don't know, anything in the health profession, this can be for you, but this is mostly geared towards medical school. So what my wife did, she's so lovely, she actually went through all the comments of the day in the life of a med student, 5 things to get into medical school, and some of my rotations, some of the comments, and a lot of them were basically asking a lot of the same questions. So she kind of compiled the questions, and so what I'm going to do is just kind of answer them as in order. So we're going to start, and hope you enjoy. Grab a cup of coffee or a cup of hot chocolate and sit back and relax. So first question, I'm not smart, good enough for med school. That's not really a question, that was a comment, but you don't think you're smart enough? Let me tell you something. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. Great. That's what the world's going to tell you. What I'm going to tell you is a little bit different, okay? You got to believe in someone other than yourself, because if you think you're going to do everything on your own, you got it wrong. And that's another video. But basically what I did, I kind of gave my life to God, and I said, you know what, you have my future, do whatever you want, and I worked my butt off. So you got to work your butt off. If you want something that's worth it and that's hard to get into, like medical school, you got to work hard. It's not about being smart. It's not about, obviously you have to be able to take a test and be able to understand certain things and key medical things and medical terms and all that, but you learn and your mind grows. And if you are dedicated and you really want to do it, you can do it. Next one. I'm stressed out and overwhelmed by everything. What am I going to do? Listen, you are stressed out. I sometimes get stressed out. You're overwhelmed. I sometimes get overwhelmed. No one's perfect. There's always going to be materials. But what I've learned is that you're always going to have something ahead of you, whether you decide to go to medical school or not. Okay? Whether you're in undergrad right now and you have a test coming up next week, you're overwhelmed. But why? Because if you pass it, then 3 weeks down the road, you're going to have another test. And then you're going to get overwhelmed again. And it's a big cycle. It never ends. So stop. And I have to tell myself that all the time. I have to stop sometimes, look at the bigger picture and say, you know what? I got this far. This is awesome. Let's take it day by day and enjoy the process. And it's easier said than done to not get overwhelmed and stressed, but you got to just relax a little, okay? And enjoy the process, because you're only going to do this once, hopefully, okay? What did I major in undergrad? What was my major? My major was biomedical science. You know what? You can do whatever you want. My best friend is actually a history major, and he's going to be a neurosurgeon. So that just tells you can do whatever you want. You obviously have to have prerequisites for medical school, which are biology 1 and 2, chemistry 1 and 2, organic chemistry 1 and 2, and I believe it's either physics 1 and 2 or anatomy and physiology. So those are the prerequisites. But other than that, you can do whatever you want. So there you go. And they don't really care. As long as you killed your prerequisites, your sciences, and you do good in your MCAT, good. I'm going to skip doctor too hard. Don't do it, because I already told you, if you really want something, do it and go for it. If you really want to do it, okay? Don't settle because you think it's too hard. Let me tell you, man. Do you really have to? I think there's someone on YouTube that has a video that says, do you really have to be smart and be a doctor? It's a process. To be a doctor, from medical school to finishing residency, is minimum 7 years after a bachelor's degree. So I think you have a little time in there to get smart and to learn some doctor stuff. So it's a long process, and you build. It's a foundation. You're not learning for 1 year and that's it, you're a doctor. No, that is not the way it works. At least here, not in this country. Okay, I have a bad, okay GPA. Can I still get in? I already made a video about this. Let me tell you, I had a great GPA, but my MCAT score was low. My entrance exam score was low. So it's like a balance beam. Guess what? If you have an MCAT score and a GPA high, great. But guess what? If you have both of them low, doesn't look so hot. You got to really do other things. You got to know people. You have to do more things. But if you have one higher than the other, it can work, and it is possible. Okay? I would say the GPA that you are striving to get is somewhere in the 3.6, 3.7 range. Okay? That is what medical students' average is, and entrance into medical school is. I have a friend that got in with 3.3. I also have I know someone that got in with 3.2, so it is doable. And if you had 3.1, you know what? I believe you could get in, okay? I do. I really believe you can get in. First try, maybe not the first try. Second try, who knows? But you can get in. If you want to be a doctor, there's a way. How old are you now, and how old are you when you got accepted? I'm 26 right now. When I got accepted, I was 22, 23, babe? 23, right? Yeah, 23. And so you're not too old. My buddy is 40 years old, and he's a second-year medical student. I'm a third-year medical student. 40 years old. Listen, you're never too old. If you really want to do it, if you don't want to die and say, you know what? Why didn't I become a doctor so I can serve people and help people? And I really want to do that. If you want to die and have those regrets, then by all means, go ahead. But if you know what? If you want to look back in your life and say, you know what? I did become a doctor. I became a physician. I went to medical school. Or I tried at least to go, and then that's what matters. But if you just sit there and say, oh, I'm too old or whatever, I'm non-traditional, then you're never gonna do it. I mean, you got to just do it. You got to put that foot forward. I have plenty of friends with kids. I have plenty of friends that are older than me, younger than me. Some people are super young. So it's all a matter of your brain and your outlook on it. What med school do you go to? I go to Florida State University. It's in Tallahassee, Florida. It is a great medical school. They're very heavy on serving rural communities and serving the underserved population, which I have a passion for. Failure in test taking, losing hope. I was a horrible test taker, okay? And I do believe in that some people, when it comes to standardized tests that have a lot of things, they're not that great at them. I didn't freak out. I don't freak out when I take my test. I just feel like when there's so much material, I can't really hone down on what I really need to know, because they're going to ask me a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just like, man, I don't know what to really study hardcore for. And so that was my problem. But I got better at it, and I had a board exam a few months ago, and I did well in it. So it is possible. Work hard. Post-bac classes. Did you do post-bac classes? Post-bac classes, if you do not know what they are, they're exactly what they say. Post-bac. After bac, which bac is bachelor's degree. So you do classes after your bachelor's degree. I had a friend, my friend that's going to be a neurosurgeon, his wife actually did some of that after she did her bachelor's degree, and just amped up her application. So if you have a lower GPA, maybe a 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and you're like, you know what, I'm not ready for med school right now, let me take a year off. You can do volunteer work, you can work at a clinic, you can do something like that, and you can also take some post-bac classes, like 1 or 2 a semester, and just do really good in them. And it actually looks good, but you have to do good in them. If you don't do good in them, it does not look good. So post-bac classes would be any higher level science classes, and you just have to Google it, because I didn't do it, but I know they're out there. They're higher level science classes, okay? Community college first. Can you do it? I did it. I went to Hillsborough Community College in Tampa, Florida. I did 3 years there, got my associates, and I did 2 years at a university and got my bachelor's, okay? It is possible. You can do it. When I interviewed for medical school, they didn't even ask me about my community college. They just looked at the overall grades and all that. So it's fine. As long as you do great. You can't go to community college and think it is super high school, because it's not. You got to work your butt off and do great. Research and undergrad. Community service. Those are 2 different things. Community service, definitely, I believe it's a must-have. You need to have some type of community service. Some type of hours, whether it's 10, 15. I had 154 hours in the hospital over time, but you don't have to have that much. Okay, research and undergrad, I didn't have any. I know a ton of people. I can literally name people that did not have research. And I can name the few that did have research. And my school doesn't ask about research. Some other schools, if you go to a big academic program like University of Florida, University of Texas, University of Kentucky, those schools like that, MUSC, New York, Albert Einstein, Tufts University, Boston College, stuff like that, big name universities, Harvard, they'll ask you, why didn't you do research? But they wouldn't even interview you if you didn't do research. So, why are we talking about that? Oh, how to prepare for MCAT. Wow, that's a big video. MCAT, don't ask me, because I didn't do that good. But I can tell you what I did along with everyone else, and they did pretty good. The reason why I didn't do that good is because I kind of slacked off on the materials that I needed to study for. I was like, yeah. When I was flipping through the big book that you get to like go over all the materials, I was like, yeah, I remember that about a year ago. Yeah, I don't have to go over that. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, maybe I don't. Let me write that down. Okay, yeah, I remember that about 2 years ago. Let me flip through it. That's what I did. I thought I remembered it. You don't know that. You got to go through it all again. Learn it all again. So That's what I would take home. That was what I would take home from it. I did do a prep class. Did it help? I would only do a prep class, pay $1,200 for it. They give you books. You sit in a class 3 times a week for 2 hours each. It's pretty exhausting. I would only do it if you are going to do the work that they assign you. I didn't do any of the work that they assigned me because I had 15 credit hours that semester, so it was very difficult. Criteria for international students versus USA. I know that foreign students can go to medical school like they can go to residency. There's a different process for it. I don't know if it's through visas or for medical student application process, but it is doable. I know it's a little difficult, but it is doable. I don't know about that. You can just Google that. Sorry. Study habits in undergrad. Study hard. Find a group of friends, a group of community that you're not just going to always study with, but that you can say, hey, I'm going to go to the library at this time from this time. You want to study? Sure. You don't have to study the same thing, but at least be in the same table and motivating each other. Grab a cup of coffee, do whatever you got to do, take a little break every hour, 5 minutes, just chat, laugh, go back to it. That's what I did throughout my entire undergrad, and I believe that's one of the reasons I did so well, because I always had accountability partners. I had a friend that used to come from a different university, and we used to study together at either his university or mine at the libraries. We used to study till late, man. It was awesome. It was pretty fun. I thought that was fun. Obviously, notes, just study hard, but I think the best part is like just have accountability. Like study hard, obviously. Everyone learns differently. I'm a photographic guy. Some people like index cards. Some people like writing it down. I loved writing it down and took my own notes, and then I studied those notes instead of looking at the PowerPoints anymore. But everyone's different. I can't really tell you how you study best, but that's how I did it. Being married in medical school, it is awesome. It is fantastic. There is ups and downs. I won't lie to you. But it is awesome to have someone there to just decompress with at the end of the day, and kind of, even though I'm not the best communicator, it's great to have someone to basically go through it with you, because you're not alone, you know. But if you're not married, it's still doable. I have tons of friends that are not married, but it is awesome. Low MCAT score, I already kind of talked about that. It is overcomable, but the best thing about the MCAT, you can overcome the low score by taking it again. And that is something that is unique with the MCAT. In medical school, if you take a board exam and you pass it, even if you pass it by 1 point, which is not that good at all, you cannot retake it. So the MCAT, retake it. That would be my advice if you got a bad score. Did I retake it? Yes, I retook mine. Okay? But when I retook mine, last minute, I canceled my score because I was like, oh man, I don't want to do worse than the last one. So retake it and be sure that you're going to do better than the first one. My friend retook it 3 times or 4 times and did better each time, and they got in. And they got in because they improved each time. Not that they necessarily got a huge, great score, but because they improved each time. The medical school liked that. Did you take most pre-med classes in community college? Okay, if you want to know a trick, this is an awesome trick. If you are in community college, do not do like some people do, and after chemistry, go to university and do orgo there. Organic chemistry at university, that stinks. Organic chemistry at university is very difficult. You have to be very dedicated, go to a lot of the office hours, because you're in a huge group. But I would recommend doing it at a community college, smaller group of people, and you get to talk to the professor. And then you can get an A in it. And getting an A in Orgo is awesome. Orgo 1 and 2. So that's all I was about to say there. So if you're not at a community college, don't sweat it. But if you are, do not leave the community college until you do those upper level science classes. When did you sign up for the MCAT? So the MCAT, if you do not want to take a year off between your bachelor's degree and medical school, you need to take the MCAT by your junior year. Okay? It takes about a month to get back. I think I took mine in the summer of my junior year, because in the summer of your junior year, that's when you're applying to medical schools also. So we also got married right when, around the time that I took it. So that was a great experience. When should I apply for med school? Like I said, you apply for med school the junior year, the junior summer, okay? And it's actually pretty funny. You actually apply to residencies around the same time, your 3rd year, the summer of ending your 3rd year of medical school. So that's pretty cool. If you want to take a year off, just apply the year before you want to go to medical school. It takes a whole year for the application process. For applying, for getting interviews, and for them accepting you, it takes a whole year. So if you want to take a year off, you need to apply after you get your bachelor's degree. You need to apply that summer. Then you take a year off because the application process takes a year, and then you go in. Money to go to med school. Everyone takes out loans. Everyone, except for a few people that their parents are paying for them, or they have like an inheritance from uncles and people that want to pour into their nephew or their son's education. And that's great. I'm taking out loans. You pay them back, man. You're gonna make 6 digits. Sorry, you're not making 3 digits. You're making 6 digits after your doctor. Holistic versus MD. Really, what they meant is DO versus MD. Osteopathic, which is DO, versus allopathic, which is MD. There's a big kind of controversy now, but if you do not know, ACGME, which is residency education, has basically combined all DO and MD specialty programs to get your residency in. They've combined it to one program, so it's pretty much a baseline. Medical schools are still separate though. They're MDs and DOs. DO focuses more on holistic medicine, meaning that they're going to teach you a lot of chiropractic work. They're going to teach you OMM, which is osteopathic manipulative medicine. So you can actually take like a year off and learn how to do adjustments and how to basically get someone's pain level down just by maneuvers and by physical exam maneuvers. So that's pretty unique. In general, DO schools are easier to get into than MD schools. Okay, that's just the way it is. It's the way it's been for a long time. So if you're like me and you didn't have the greatest MCAT, apply to both. Apply to DO and MD. DO applications are more expensive than MD. I forgot how much more, but they're a little more expensive than MD programs. Going to med school right after undergrad, I loved that. I didn't like breaks and I don't want breaks. Anyone that does take breaks, that's for them. But I'm just like, let's do it already. It's long enough. Still in high school, what can I do? Wow, buddy. What can you do? You can start shadowing a doctor when you're a freshman in college. Or you can start like doing community service or something. I mean, you're so young. If you really know you want to be a doctor, that's my dog. That's my babe. Yeah. If you're in high school, man, I mean, you can, and if you know you want to be a doctor, you can do so much. My friend made a project, made a homeless food project that was pretty awesome, helped make it, and again, you can do that over the course of your undergrad, and saying during your medical school interview that you helped create something like that, it looks phenomenal. And it's phenomenal in general. I mean, just serving the population in your community. Oh, so if you get a biomedical science degree and don't get in, apply again. And if you don't get in again, apply again if you really want to be a doctor. In the meantime, I would community service. If you need to make some money, work at a hospital or doing something administrative, anything with your degree that you have, do something in the medical field. You will be fine. How did you manage to find shadowing opportunities in the local community to prepare yourself for medical school? First off, in clinics or in your college. Okay, first off, to prepare yourself for medical school, you ain't gonna be able to do anything. They don't require you to learn how to even do an IV. They don't require you to even know how to do CPR or the Heimlich maneuver. They don't require you to know how to do these things on people. You're in medical school to learn that stuff. This is not a nursing program. Nursing programs start off quickly, hands-on. Bachelor's degree, if you're not a nurse for a bachelor's, like if you're not doing bachelor's in nursing or something, by the time you get your bachelor's, you're not going to know any hands-on stuff if you're just going to classes. It's not the way this works. They understand that. They understand that most of us don't have a background in medicine. Most of us don't have experience with that. So they teach you in medical school. So nothing's going to prepare you as far as like community service and whatever. That stuff, community service, shadowing, going to hospitals, that stuff helps you confirm that you want to be a physician. Helps you confirm that you want to see sick patients and help them. That's what it does. It confirms it. And how did I manage to find those opportunities? Dude, get your butt in your car or have your mom or dad take you if you don't own a car, or whoever owns a car, drive you to the hospital. Every hospital has a volunteer center. You go up to them and you say, I want to volunteer. What do you mean you want to volunteer? Doing what? I don't care. Taking out the garbage. I want to volunteer. Seriously. Because on your application, you put volunteered at this hospital. I mean, and if they ask you what'd you do, and you say you took out the garbage, you know what they're going to say? Are you serious? Wow, that is true servantship. I mean, that's great. What I did, I said, I want to work with kids. So they put me in the pediatric center. You can do it. It's so easy. People make it so hard, but I'm telling you, hospitals need more volunteers. They're not paying you. They want to not pay people. And so if you're willing to give your time, they'll be awesome with that. What I did, I only volunteered 3 hours a week on Friday. I went from 12 to 3 because that was what my time allowed me to do. And I went every Friday. And that added up over the course of 2 or 3 years to 154 hours. What are your early sparks, inspirations in your life that drive you to the idea of becoming a physician? Well, I'll be dead honest with you. The initial thought came from a geometry teacher in my sophomore year of high school because I was good at math. Don't tell me how that added up. And she said you should go into sports medicine. Little did I know that I'm in like orthopedics. So she told me, and then I was like, well, I like the idea of becoming a doctor. That's status, they're going to make a lot of money and stuff like that. So I just started working my way up there. But then I realized that it's not worth the money. Okay, it's not worth the status to have the MD behind your name or the DO behind your name. It's not worth any of that stuff. Because it's too long to be just worth money and to be worth status. And I ended up transforming my mind into really fulfilling my purpose. And it wasn't to become a doctor just to become a doctor. It was to actually help people and to serve people. And I think you can do that in a lot of fields, not just being a doctor, but being a doctor gives you that unique experience and possibility and ability to just really take care of people by yourself. And it is a unique field. It definitely is. And that's what really sparked me. I didn't really have any mentors or heroes. I mean, Jesus is my hero. I mean, he's the ultimate servant. So I wanted to be like him. Time for social life. Definitely. I have time for social life. How? What did we just come back from right now, baby? We came back from youth group. I mean, I'm the youth pastor of my church. I'm in medical school. How do I do it? Because Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. He gives me the strength. And like I said before, I mean, you can't think that you can do everything. You're not God. You're not a superhero. So, I just leave it to him. And I do my best. I put, my studies are a priority, but my wife and my relationship with the Lord is first. It's first before school. It's way up there because if stuff in my house is not right as far as my relationship with my wife, and I'm not having a social life, and I'm just studying all day and night, that's not healthy. So, I mean, you have to have a social life. You have to keep the hobbies that you love and make time for them. So I do have a life. Pay off debt. You pay it off after medical school. I'm 6 digits in debt. So are 100 of my friends. 100 of my friends are in over $150,000 in debt. But it's okay. Because after you become a doctor, you pay it off. Like 90% of the doctors in the United States. That's how it is, and I am exhausted. That was the last question. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you become a physician. I hope you go for your dreams, and it is possible. Let me tell you. If you would have saw me in high school, ooh boy, you wouldn't even have thought I would be this far right now. But I am, because the Lord has placed me here, and He's had that purpose for my life. And so if that's your purpose, and it's meant for you to be a physician, a low MCAT's not going to stop that. A low GPA is not going to stop that. How old you are is not going to stop that. How many kids you have are not going to stop that. Nothing is going to stop the plan of your becoming a physician. So we love you, we thank you, and we just want to inspire you to just do what the Lord has called you to do. And if you don't have a relationship with Him, I pray for you. And I'm going to ask God to just enter your life and just show you what He's done for you, and it's Jesus. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just a random God. I'm talking about Jesus Christ. He's awesome and He's amazing, and I'll continue to say His name because He's saved me from the pit of hell. And you're like, what does that have to do with medicine? That's why I am in medicine, because I want to be a servant, and like Jesus was. He was a servant. So we love you guys. We thank you. And good night, or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you're at. Deuces.